Yesterday, Google taught a humanoid robot to unscrew a light bulb. 92% success rate. Everyone is covering the robot. The story is not the robot. The story is that Google just declared war on every robotic startup on Earth without building a single machine. Here's the tell. That robot in the demo? Google doesn't make it. It's Apptronik's Apollo 2. Only the brain inside is Google's. If you build robots, invest in robots. Or you're just betting on Tesla's Optimus ever showing up. The business model underneath all of it shifted yesterday. You've seen the headline. What you haven't seen is the fine print on WHO gets access, because that's the actual weapon. Next 8 minutes. What Robotics 2 really does. The Android playbook Google is running. The one startup fighting back with real numbers. And a plot twist involving a robot company Google sold 9 years ago. So what actually shipped on July 30th? 3 models, 1 stack. Gemini Robotics 2 is the Hands, a vision language action model that turns camera input and plain English into full body motion. And full body is the upgrade. The 2025 version controlled a torso on a table. This one coordinates walking, crouching, reaching, and grabbing at the same time. The second model, ER2, is the foreman. It plans multi-step jobs that take minutes, and it coordinates several robots at once. In Google's own demo, a humanoid and a 2-armed station robot split a job between them. Different bodies, different makers, one brain. And the third one is the quiet bombshell. On-Device 2 runs entirely on the robot. No cloud, no connection. Google says it adapts to a brand new robot body with under 200 examples. Now the number everyone's quoting, 92%. That's one specific task, unscrewing a light bulb, with Apptronik's Apollo and precision robot hands. On harder dexterity tasks, the same system scores 30 to 44%. Remember that gap. It matters at the end. But here's the question nobody's asking. Why is Google giving its best robot brain to other people's robots? Because they've run this exact play before. 2008. Apple makes the phone and the software total control. Google can't out-iPhone the iPhone, so it does something weirder. It gives the brain away. Android launches at 2% market share. 4 years later, it passes iOS. Today, it's on 70% of every phone on Earth, built by hundreds of manufacturers, all running Google's software. Now map it onto yesterday. The ER2 model, publicly available through the Gemini API. That's the open bait. The flagship body control model, early access for partners who apply. That's the license layer. The partner list already reads like an army. Apptronik, Franka, Agile Robots, Boston Dynamics, Spot. Google isn't trying to win the robot. It's trying to become the thing every robot needs. So who exactly is this war against? The company's betting the opposite way. Own the body and the brain. Tesla. Optimus was promised at 10,000 units in 2025. Verified production by this July. Effectively 0 useful units. Musk himself told investors the current robots are, quote, primarily for learning, not productive tasks. The next version is promised for this summer. Promises are not units. Figure, this one's serious. $39 billion valuation, and when OpenAI wanted deeper access in 2025, Figure walked away and built its own brain, Helix, 100% in-house. Their BMW pilot finished with real numbers. 11 months, 30,000 vehicles served, 90,000 parts moved. 1X is already taking $20,000 pre-orders for a home humanoid. With a catch, a lot of early tasks are teleoperated by humans. Here's what changed for all three yesterday. Every startup that can't afford to build its own brain now has a default option with Google's name on it. The vertical players aren't dead, they're surrounded. And there's one company in this story twice, on both sides, Boston Dynamics, the company behind every viral robot video you've ever seen. Google bought it in 2013 and sold it in 2017, reportedly at a loss. Alphabet looked at robotics and said, too early, too expensive. They even shut down their own robot division, Everyday Robots, gone in the 2023 layoffs after a decade and 100 robots that mostly cleaned cafeterias. Fast forward to CES this January. Boston Dynamics announces its new electric Atlas will run on Gemini. And the first production units this year are being delivered to Hyundai and to Google DeepMind itself. The company Google gave up on is now the flagship body for Google's brain. That's not nostalgia. That's the platform play working. You don't need to own the body if the best bodies come to you. But before you crown Google, someone ran this play first. NVIDIA. March 2025, 16 months earlier, GR00T, an open foundation model for humanoids. Free on GitHub. And this June they went further. A full reference humanoid, unitary body, NVIDIA brain, NVIDIA chips, shipping late 2026. Stanford, ETH Zurich, and half the robotics labs on Earth already run it. So the honest frame isn't Google versus the startups, it's the second Android war, and there are already 2 Androids. NVIDIA's is open and sells you the silicon. Google's is closed, tiered, and sells you the ecosystem. And here's the detail that tells you how seriously Alphabet takes this. Their own venture arm, capital G, LED, the $600 million round into physical intelligence, a third robot brain platform, founded by ex-DeepMind researchers. Google is funding its own rival. That's not confusion. That's making sure the platform wins, whoever's platform it is. Now the part of this video where we check our own hype, because there are 3 honest holes in the war story. 1. The access is still a velvet rope. Only ER2 is truly public. The flagship model is invite only. Calling it the Android of robots today is aspiration, not distribution. 2. The demos are narrower than the headline. That 92%? One task, one robot. Purpose trained. Reporters who dug in found each showcase task was specifically trained. This is whole body progress, not a robot that does anything. 3. Verticals have a moat platforms can't buy. Proprietary data. Figure's BMW numbers exist because Figure owns the whole loop. Tesla's factories generate training data nobody can license. So no, the war isn't won, but it is declared in writing in the access tiers. And wars like this get decided by developers, not demos. So what do you actually do with this? If you're building in robotics, the brain just became a build versus buy decision, and buy now has Google pricing behind it. The startups that survive this are the ones with data nobody else can collect. If you're just watching, stop scoring this war by robot demos. Score it by the partner lists. Every OEM that signs is a phone maker choosing Android in 2009. Invisible headlines that decide everything. Yesterday, a robot unscrewed a light bulb, and everyone filmed the robot. The real move was the fine print underneath. Google declaring in writing that the brain is the product now. The war on robot startups didn't start with a shot. It started with an API key. The first shots back land within months. Figure's next helix, NVIDIA's reference humanoid, and a Tesla deadline in weeks. When they land, we'll be covering it. Subscribe so you're here when the war goes hot.